Room, the only way to start your day.
Yes, it is. 8 minutes after 8. We have some 3,000 shillings courtesy of Safaricom to give out this morning. And all you need to do is subscribe to the all-in-one package. What's the all-in-one package do?
Everything.
Yeah.
All in one. So you pay a certain amount. In this case, 2,000 shillings. What can happen? You get 1,000 minutes to just talk. Can you imagine talking for 1,000 minutes?
1,000 minutes in a month.
Well, the hope is that you take a break between the 1,000 minutes, but all right. You also get 2,000 messages, SMSs. You can send SMS, 2,000 of them. And then you also get 17 GB data. See, today I got it right.
Yes.
And then you also get free WhatsApp. You can do all of these things for 30 days for just 2,000 bob. So you never have to worry. Let me call you back. Let me buy your airtime. Or I sent a message that didn't go. What? You didn't get my message? Oh, then you check and say, oh, it didn't go. I didn't have airtime. No. You're guaranteed that your communication will never katika because you've paid the 2,000 shillings at the beginning of the term. You hold it for 30 days. You can do all of these things. And you'll use all of them. All in one. Communication doesn't stop.
Yep. And you know, once you have it, like I have it on my mobile phone and I have a tablet, I hotspot. I got the word today.
Well done.
From my mobile to my tablet. I'm not worried about it. Oh, Taisha Sasa. I'm sorted. Or you're watching content. Kenyans now use this screen. The screen here is the main screen.
Yeah.
You're watching the Situation Room. You're streaming the entire 4 hours and you don't want to miss because our next conversation is going to be about diaspora jobs. And you're thinking, I want to hear what this plan is and how it's going to work. And then
it starts buffering.
It's data. By the time you buy data, you come back. The PS has already said what you wanted to hear.
She has gone.
It's moved. 2,000 bob.
All of it.
Go star 544 hash. Star 544 hash. And then go monthly. And then all in one. Select your package. Subscribe. Pay. Take a screenshot. Send it to us on DM at SpiceFMKE on X. At the end of this show, our social media guys, our Gen Z guy is called who? Arvin.
Arvin.
He's going to pick somebody who will win the 3,000 shillings. It's as simple as that.
There you go.
Yeah. So the PS for diaspora jobs. Okay. The PS for diaspora affairs. He's our next guest. And she's here, Rosalind Catherine Jogu. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good to have you back.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me back. I think it's been a month since I was last here.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
I love the blue. What do you call that
It's
blue?
Royal blue.
Oh, thank you. I did not know.
It's blue, right?
It's the dark blue. Royal blue. Asante.
Royal blue.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I see on your lapel you have Kenya, Germany. Hey, nini bwana?
Well, we are just off signing, and the ink is barely dry on the comprehensive migration and mobility partnership agreement with Germany. So I'm wearing my Kenya Damu and Germany flag, of course.
Okay. Now, City is not here today.
Yes, is there going to be proverbs?
Yes. Proverb for this week is from Libya.
Oh.
What's the capital of Libya?
Tripoli.
Very good.
You're asking a diaspora person.
Yes, Wamaju.
How many Kenyans are in Libya?
Right now, those numbers are not very clear. We evacuated Libya several years back when we had political problems there. We haven't re-established an embassy there. We had to close our embassy there that many years ago. So it's one of the places where we don't have very good systems or controls, so we basically tell Kenyans to not work there.
Okay. So for now, at least don't work there as things are getting sorted out. The kind of government they have so far, it's a provisional government. It's, those ones. It's a caretaker sort of government. It's a provisional government with the current president is not president, he's chairman of the Presidential Council. So the presidency is the council. And the chairman is called Mohammed El Menfi. He's the current chair of the Presidential Council. The proverb from Libya for today, he howled before going mad.
He howled before going mad. It sounds like the beginning of a composition. ... He howled before. Okay. What do I think it means?
Yes, that's it. That's the end of the proverb.
He howled before going mad. There are signs. I think there are signs before certain things happen, or as people say, if I make money, there will be signs. And that's not what it means. But
They will know.
They will know. They will know. But I think it just means that before it rains, the clouds will gather. Before anything major happens, there will have been signs. So I think you might then use that proverb as a warning, or as to say that these are the warning signs before something happens. Is what I would say. You and your man and Danny.
Don't ignore the signs.
Okay. Yeah.
If you had taken him to hospital when he was howling, maybe you'd have helped him.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So diaspora people, we want to talk to them as well, because people in Kenya, people abroad, there's a lifestyle. It's an app. It's called Loop.
Yes,
It can serve even you people who are in the diaspora and you're watching the PS this morning. Have you tell them about it?
So imagine you can do everything from one app. You can pay your bills. Doesn't matter where you are. You can move money from your bank account to your mobile wallet. You can also do vice versa. Send it from your mobile wallet back to the bank. All your transactions. And imagine if you were in business as well. You can pay merchants. You can sell. You can buy. You can advertise your products on the app.
Yeah.
And all we need you to do is download the app. Download it and experience all the amazing things that you can do on this app. And you can even, go ahead and get facilities for credit. I mean, really, anything that you can imagine that you would do with your money and your business and your lifestyle, you can do it on Loop. And that's why they say it's not just transactions, or it's not just an app. It actually is a lifestyle.
Indeed.
So that's good, because we're always looking for ways to make movement of money, remittances, or other business that our diaspora are doing easier, faster, cheaper, and so on.
Very good.
Yeah.
Loop it.
So tell us about the trip to Germany and you say it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It is a big deal. So the trip to Germany was very successful. There were a number of things that were happening. First of all, Kenya was the guest country for what they call the Bürgerfest, or the Citizens Festival, where the German presidency takes time to celebrate volunteers and that kind of thing. And they will usually invite another country to come and showcase its culture and so on. So at the palace, at the Schloss Bellevue, where the palace is, you will do these grand exhibitions. And with Kenya being there, this was the first time a non-European country had been invited as a country of honor. And so we were showcasing our culture, language. There was dancing, there was music. I think Boma's dancers were there. There was nyama choma, mutura. Of course, our usual coffee, tea. Something like 15,000 Germans attended this event over the 2 days. So, of course, a number of them interacted with our culture, ideas of our tourism sites and so on for the first time. So really you can expect to see an uptick in tourism from that part of the world. But also it was useful for people to begin to understand Kenyan culture a little more in ways that they haven't interacted with it before. There was so much dancing, there was, DJs and all of that. So it was very exciting. And, on the margins of that, then we did business. One of the things that we did was signing the Comprehensive Migration and Mobility Partnership Agreement, which we will speak about in a little bit. We also signed a 4-way MOU between the government of Kenya, represented by our State Department, Kala Trust, the Friedrich Naumann Foundation, and the Hamburg Chamber of Commerce. And this MOU creates a framework for people to work, or for companies that belong to the Hamburg Chamber of Commerce to outsource part of their work to Kenyans, who then can work offshore. Can quite simply do lots of activities, whether they be accounting, whether they be what kind of jobs, all the way from Kenya.
Okay.
We held a beautiful diaspora engagement, 2 diaspora engagements. The first one was a Diaspora Talent Conference, where we talked about diaspora talent and how we can make the most out of labor mobility. We had a fantastic diaspora engagement with the president. You might have seen a very lovely town hall where people got to interact and ask all kinds of questions and listen to former Prime Minister Raila singing. And we had a number of meetings. We had one with recruitment agents, both from Kenya and from Germany, convened by the president, so that we can talk about how we would go about now implementing the agreement. So it was really impactful. There were, of course, other meetings, like business meetings with Volkswagen and so on. So it was a very packed 2 days. There was also our team from Diaspora Affairs doing mobile consular services across a number of cities in Germany, as well as doing like a talent fest where they went around different cities talking about Kenyan talent and why Kenyan talent is fantastic and well-trained and so on. So very busy week.
Okay.
Yeah, very busy 2-3 days.
So
Yeah.
the Comprehensive Migration and Mobility Partnership Agreement.
Yes.
Very many words there.
Yeah,
But
it's very comprehensive.
migration and mobility.
Yeah.
Those are the main words. What do those mean?
So the agreement is set up to create a framework for, on our side, labor to move from Kenya to Germany to meet our needs and to meet Germany's needs. What do I mean? It's a win-win, a mutually beneficial agreement that is set up to create synergies between our two markets. We have an surplus of particularly young or youthful talent, and on the other side you have German companies badly needing labor. Because of the way our demographics in the two different countries are set up, you have a situation where in Kenya you have a youth bulge, as we call it, or an extremely youthful population. 19 and a half years is the median age in Kenya, which means our pyramid looks like a proper pyramid, right? Germany, on the other hand, has an inverted pyramid. Birth rates fell several years back. So what we now have is a much older demographic, an inverted pyramid. So lots of older people, median age is 44, I believe. And then, so you have a very small working population supporting a much larger and retiring population. The last of the baby boomers are now exiting their labor market, which means over the next several years, organically, Germany is not able to keep up its prosperity by relying purely on its own labor. Over the years, it's had migration, particularly from within the EU, from other countries within the EU. Something like 230,000 people have been were commuting from within the EU in 2022 alone to work within Germany. But various sort of pieces of research will indicate that without an intervention, what will happen to Germany is that by something like 2030, the labor gaps will increase to something like anything between 3 to 5 million. If you're a large industrial country, which is the third or the fourth largest economy in the world, the largest in the EU, and you're a large economy that depends on manufacturing, for example, and you don't have the labor to manufacture, then your prosperity starts going down. Some research, I think, from an institute, for example, indicates that that's going to mean a 14% dip in Germany's economic growth by 2030. So it's important to understand that this makes sense for Germany to look for labor. If we don't have labor, if they don't have labor, their economy will go down.
Okay.
On the one hand, so that's the picture on that hand. That's the demand side. The supply side is ours, where we have 1 million young people joining the labor market every year, right? And there aren't 1 million opportunities opening up every single year. So you have a surplus of labor. And I think the last time I was here, we talked about how GOK is dealing with that on a 3-pronged strategy, right? So creating jobs at home, creating jobs online, and finally jobs in the diaspora. So what this agreement, the Comprehensive Migration and Mobility Partnership Agreement does is it creates a framework for those diaspora jobs in Germany. It's a first of its kind agreement, and this is what I mean by that. Many other sort of bilateral labor agreements, and this is not strictly speaking a BLA, but many other BLAs that we've gotten into will usually say we will take 15,000 healthcare workers from Kenya, such as the agreement we have with the UK. Or we will take 5,000, artisans from Kenya. Or we have a total of, as a country, we can say we have a total of 40,000 nurses required. We will take 5,000 from Kenya, 5,000 from India, and so on and so. So you allocate numbers. This is not that kind of agreement. This agreement is open. It says we have huge needs, and I've described what the market looks like. You've had other numbers, of course, going around, like 250,000, which is what is required year on year. In terms of actually a little more of the research indicates numbers are even larger than that. But so these are the needs. We're giving Kenya based on Kenyans' ability to meet the requirements of the employer and of the Skilled Immigration Act, I think is what their law is called, opportunities to come and work, right?
Without a quota.
Without a quota.
Okay.
So that is really the issue that we ought to be concerning ourselves about. There is no quota. You can, quote unquote, drink as much water as you can, right? And that is the point of this. That's why this agreement is different, and it's a good one also, because not only are we talking about then access to their labor, to their market, and Kenyans being able to go and work, but we've also done work in that agreement on issues like recognition of Kenyan skills, Kenyan's accreditation, Kenyan's certificates. We've done work on attempting to twin different sort of TVET institutions, where we say there's this TVET somewhere in Kirinyaga and there is this TVET somewhere in Bremen. How can we make these two work together so that there is co-learning, co-teaching, exchange programs, and that kind of thing? So we're building up on that agreement many different kinds of projects.
But this work is skilled work.
Yes.
And this where there's needed to have some kind of caution applied when, of course, everything came out into the open and many questions were being asked. So I just wanted to go over a couple of things so that it is clear for everybody that what we're saying is that there's an agreement between two governments, Kenya and Germany, whereby Germany has said that there are jobs that they have to fill because they just don't have enough. And Kenya has said there are people who can do these jobs. But we're not saying that the floodgates are open and come as you please. We're just saying that they're skilled jobs and you have to meet the requirement and apply for the jobs in order to have them? Or are we saying that there's a platform upon which these jobs are going to be placed, and if you apply for it and you meet the match, then you may go?
So that's a really good question. There is the agreement by government. But remember, most of these opportunities exist in the private sector. Okay, so what that means is that I still have to apply for a job. I still have to be matched, or I have to match myself to an employer who then says, okay, so this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a journalist with this kind of qualifications. This person meets the bill, and then we start the migration process, right? And the processes for moving. So let me say something before I talk about the processes for moving. Skilled workers are a broad category, right? So it is not just, by German definitions, bakers are skilled workers, hairdressers are skilled workers. So skilled workers are broader than what I think many people think of when they think of professional.
In Kenya.
Maybe people.
So, for example, if you say a plumber in Germany and a plumber in Kenya,
that's a skilled worker.
You see them differently, but in Germany, it's a skilled worker.
Okay. So skilled workers are what
But also
they're
we're talking
looking
about
for.
a plumber in Kenya who has gone through training and has certification.
Yes.
Not
A guy.
Not
a guy,
Kawaya.
not a guy who learned by just walking through. Sawa.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have the definition, right, of skilled workers, right? It has to be somebody whose profession or whose skill is recognized, and and there's processes and they have quite a bureaucracy about recognizing this, your skill and your school and that kind of thing. Now, the processes on how you get these jobs, and this is a question a lot of people are asking, is this. There are at least three different ways. One, most jobs in Germany are going to be advertised on a German government website called makeitingermany.com. And if you look at our social media, diaspora_KE, I think my team is putting that information out there. So makeitingermany.com is a place where you can find a lot of information around what jobs exist, and you will be able to see the 30, 40, 50, however many thousand jobs are there. And then you can search by, journalist, or by city, or by that kind of thing, right? So the different filters. You can find those opportunities there, and those opportunities are open to foreign labor. So then you can start from there. There's more information around how you would migrate and that kind of thing on, I want to say it's deutschland.de, which is also up on our socials. Mm-hmm. So there is the path where I can look for the opportunities myself, right? As a Kenyan who's nimejituma. Mm-hmm. I go to Make It in Germany. I go to Hub. I think there's one called Hub for Africa.Bayern, and so on. I go up there and I find a job and I start the process. And many Kenyans do find opportunities this way. Then you go through the process of having your qualifications checked, and so on and so forth. Secondly, you could work with a recruiter, right? You can work with a recruiter in Kenya. And a number of recruiters, as I remember when I mentioned we had a meeting, part of the things we did last week, was meetings between Kenyan recruiters and German recruiters. A number of Kenyans have already been recruiting for the German market, and now we expect to see that kicking up. Okay, so a number of recruiters who recruit for Germany, some of them will have those jobs actually on the NEA website, which we've discussed before. That's neims.go.ke.
The National Employment Authority.
Exactly, the National Employment Authority. So they will have opportunities there, and they say this is in Germany. We are looking for vets, or I'm looking for 20 people who do animal husbandry. I don't know what a person who does animal husbandry is called, but yes. So that and they will usually list those. There are a number of Kenyan diaspora-owned recruitment businesses. So Kenyans who live and work in Germany who own recruitment businesses, who then recruit from Nairobi or from Kenya because they understand both parts of the market. So diaspora is also playing a critical role in making sure that we can implement this agreement. But beyond that, we expect to be able to create more programs as we go along within the Diaspora Placement Agency, which is the agency, or the quote-unquote parastatal, that is owned by our State Department, then to be able to structure those kinds of programs. So these are the places you can begin to find opportunities. Next Friday, on the 27th of September, 27th of September, we actually have German companies coming to Kenya to recruit during a job fair that they are hosting here in Nairobi. So movement is already happening, and these are some of the places that you'll find this information. But we understand that implementation is a long-term thing. So as information becomes available, one of the things that we will do at the State Department is we will continue to supply information, and you'll be able to see it as we go along, as we make materials available. But also we want... remember, we want this agreement implemented, right? We've worked very hard to negotiate it. We don't want to negotiate a market access agreement then Kenyans don't.
Then you don't take
advantage of it.
Let's take a break. When you come back, you'll tell us, so why work in Germany?
Okay. Yeah.
Because there are very many people who have said, so now surely you're sending us out of this country, or you want us to leave this to a change muze. 29 minutes to 9. Our guest is the Principal Secretary for Diaspora Affairs in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign and Diaspora Affairs.
Yeah.
Rosalind Catherine Jogu. We'll be back shortly. Keep it here.
Thank you.
This is the